Hello, I am Alejandra Villagomez, and my audience includes Valentina, Alexis, Hannah, and Emily. How many of you guys here who have gone through the college planning process or who plan on going to college know exactly how you're going to cover every dollar worth of expenses? That's okay. I don't either, and so don't many other college students. According to the APLU, approximately one half of college graduates have graduated with some sort of debt. Although it seems like you need to go into debt to pay off college, that assumption is false and that should not stop you from pursuing a college education if you see it viable for your career. Not only have I done research on this, but both of my brothers who have gone to college have advised me on what I should do and avoid to pay off my college easily. There are many ways to save money in college and pay off college as soon as you can, and hopefully you can describe them all once I am done. You can keep college cheap by cutting unnecessary expenses, using financial assistance, and avoiding student loans at all costs. To start, college can be more affordable by limiting your expenses. This can first be done by choosing the right type of college for your goals. There are three types of colleges: public, private, and community college. Private colleges cost a lot of money and typically have better resources, while public colleges are directly funded by the government and typically cost less. If you're looking for a bachelor's degree or above in education, the best way to go about this is usually by choosing a public college. However, if you're looking for an associate's degree or some sort of vocational training instead, you should go to a community college. That's because community colleges are more affordable and more accessible to this type of education style. Still, there are other ways you can cut your expenses in college. The first one you can do is by staying local, because this means you'll have access to more local scholarships. I'll get into that later, but just know that means that you have more money for college. This also means that you'll be closer to your support system, your family, and that they will be able to give you access to different types of resources more easily than if they're further away. You should also do some research on what is required for your major and what skills are necessary for your major before you solidify it in college. You can do this by either doing job shadowings or looking at online resources for this. If you decide to switch majors in colleges, that means you're going to have to spend more money on different types of classes. You should also do at least one college tour and research the college to see if it meets your career and personal goals in life. This is because if you decide to transfer colleges, you'll have to deal with transfer fees, and some credits won't transfer as well, which means you have to spend more money on classes. All of these are different ways you can save money for college, but none of them help you pay. Luckily, you're not alone when it comes to paying for college. There are many other types of financial aids and resources existing for students. The first one is scholarships, and this is basically money awarded for your education. You don't have to repay anything, and these can be awarded for things such as academics, athletics, diversity, or financial need. There are also scholarships available for niche occasions as well. For example, I found one recently where you can get a scholarship for just being left-handed. There's another type of financial aid available as well called a grant, and that is basically gifted aid from the federal government, state, or university. This is based on your financial need and is primarily used to pay for your education. You can find out how much money you can get from a grant by filling out the FAFSA, which stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA also determines your eligibility for work-study programs, student loans, and financial needs scholarships. The main point of the FAFSA is to determine the amount of aid a student can receive from the government. Work-study programs are basically part-time jobs initiated by the government for college. The main difference between this and a regular part-time job is that work-study programs are federally funded, usually on or near campus, and are based on your financial aid. Some jobs themselves even offer their own types of work-study programs. And the way this works is that in exchange for the job paying off most or all of a college student's expenses, that college student in exchange has to work for that job for a certain amount of years. All of these are different ways you can pay for college without losing any money, but there's one type of aid that requires pay and is highly unrecommended. That is student loans. Sure, they can save you money in the beginning, but they should be avoided at all costs. There is a reason why student loans seem so appealing for students. The reason is because it seems like the easiest option to pay for college. All it takes is one application and then you have the money just like that. This seems enticing in the beginning, but it's going to hurt you in the long run, and that's why I don't recommend it. Many students who have applied for student loans have suffered under long-term debt. According to the Education Data Initiative, on average, it takes the college student over 20 years to pay off their student loans, and that's unaccounting for the students that have defaulted on those loans as well. Even if you have a low interest rate on your loans, the debt will continue increasing and the payments will stay difficult to make. Here is a graph of the different types of generations and the student loans they've owed over the past 5 years. You would expect it to go down over time because they would have more time to get money to cover their loans, but that's not what the case is here. As you can see, the silent generation, which has had decades more to make money and cover their loans, just owes slightly less than the current day millennials do. It is impossible to file bankruptcy on a student loan, and that combined with the amount of money that many people owe prevents people from settling down in their lives because of how difficult it is for them to make a down payment or a mortgage. Overall, student loans are very hurtful, and the other strategies have been proven to be much better when it comes to paying for college. Now that I'm done talking about student loans, you have finally heard all my tips for college. By cutting unnecessary costs, using financial assistance, and avoiding loans, college can now be affordable. It does seem expensive at first, but these tips can help make college a stepping stone for your journey instead of a hindrance. I know this because this advice has helped my brothers pay off college and be prepared for life instead of working away just covering some payments. Hopefully now you can explain the best ways to keep college cheap and that you implement this advice sooner rather than later. College is meant for you to learn for your future, but if you feel like you need to spend more money for a better education, then go right ahead. This is just the most optimal way that I found for paying off college. I don't want any of you guys spiraling into debt because of a few choices you made before you were even 20 years old. And that's why I urge you as much as I can to pay off as much as possible for college as soon as possible, because that is the best way for college to be beneficial for your future.
That was wonderful.